Hi Sagittarius, this is your general tarot reading for Sagittarius Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of February 2018. As the first card jumps out, it is the Six of Swords. Okay, so I'm shuffling here, and as I'm shuffling, I'm going to be telling you about the energies that are happening for you guys in February. You've a lot of energy happening from the very beginning of the month because we have the lunar eclipse on the 31st of January, which will affect the whole month really of February. And it's happening for you in the 9th house as a whole lot of cards just come out here, Sag. You're very keen, I know that. So what have we got here? We have the Lovers. Nice card. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles. Are you beginning to see a theme here? Pentacles, 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 money, money, money. We have the Moon, eclipse, eclipse, eclipse. We have the Hermit. We have the Eight of Swords. Another few cards, Sagittarius, and we are ready to read for February. So the lunar eclipse is in your 9th house, and it's all to do with expanding your mind, traveling, other cultures, foreign people, foreign languages, foreign philosophies and ideals, and essentially how you relate to them. I think this lunar eclipse is going to challenge something for you too. Anytime there's a lunar eclipse, you've got to expect the unexpected as a card jumps out. The King of Wands, the Page of Wands, I beg your pardon. I do that a lot. I say I announce the wrong cards, but I do actually read it right. So if you see me doing that, you have to forgive me. But I will read the right translation. I think with all the energy that's happening in your 9th house of expanding your horizons, coupled with mid-month, a solar eclipse in your 3rd house, it's to do with a great bolt of lightning, of inspiration, coming to your mind, coming to your vision of the world, where you will want to change absolutely 100% how you see the world, the things that you believe in, and how you communicate that. We have 2 cards, sorry, I thought it was one. And here we have the Devil. There's no panic. We did talk about this last month in the other video. This is the influence of Saturn, which you're now, hallelujah, leaving behind. He popped up there just to let you know that all that heaviness over the last 2.5 years that we've spoken about last month is on the out, baby. It's going. We have the Four of Swords. We only need one more card. But yeah, I was talking about these lightning bolts, flashes of inspiration that will touch all corners of your life, your love, your career, your finances, and essentially, and more profoundly, the Seven of Cups, that's your last card, but essentially, it's going to change your entire perspective. And you guys being happy in the 9th house of perspective, it's going to be a bit weird for you because very often, Sagittarius, you develop a worldview and it's expansive, it's broad. But sometimes you can get stuck, which is what this card represents. And the energy in February for you now is to unstuck that. So everything you believe now is going to take a radical change for the better. Okay, so Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Let's see what's in the cards. Let's go, let's go. And where do we begin? Before we begin, Sag, I want to say something. I have sensed, as I'm looking into the Sagittarius energy here, that a lot of you, because of the Saturn stuff that we talked about last month, I think a great many of you have experienced January as a time where you've lost your confidence a little bit. I've seen this with other Sagittarians that I'm reading for at the moment. They're wonderful at what they do. A lot of them are healers, academics, who have a great understanding of foreign cultures and so on. A lot of them seem to, they don't trust anymore what they believe in. They don't trust their skills. They get a sense that they have lost direction completely in the thing that they're best at. And as February comes, one of the great things that's going to happen for you, Sag, is you're going to regain that sense of confidence. But the confidence will come after you realize that some of your beliefs must take a radical change, okay? And then you'll be able to fight through all the obstacles that are thrown at you. The old way of doing things, it was wonderful and you had great success doing it. But in your field of expertise, in the things that you're best at, you now may need an upskill, an upgrade. The energy for you in February is about regaining your confidence through relearning and refocusing on what it is you're best at, you know? Okay, so let's move here and talk about this. We begin with the Seven of Swords, and it talks about moving away from past dramas, from noisy places and places of hurt, essentially. And you're prepared now to move on to calmer seas, calmer horizons. And look at this guy. He's looking into the future. And you get a sense with this card, with the passengers too, that they have their backs to the past and there's no regrets. And that's a key phrase for you this month, Sag. Move on, no regrets, because there are other horizons for you to conquer. And swords also represent the mind. Didn't we say that there'll be great lightning bolts of inspiration? You will come to the realization in February that the things that you probably thought that you knew everything about, you'll suddenly realize that there's a whole lot more to learn. A new door, a new avenue, opportunity of learning will come to you, and you'll run with it and you're ready to go. Look at this guy. He's got the stick down in the water. He's saying, bye, 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 bye. Thanks. Nice knowing you. No regrets. Thanks for everything. Bye. Yeah, that's him. He's dying to go. And that's you too, Sag. You're just dying to go, to move on, to experience new things. And you'll have a choice. The Lovers always represents choice. You may have a choice between love too, because one definition of this card coupling is that you may be moving on from a love. Perhaps there is a situation in your love life that you just can't support anymore. It's not for you. You'll want to say thanks for everything, no regrets, but I'm out of here, you know? And the thing that might be inspiring you to move on is that you see that there are other opportunities, bigger fish to fry, more things to see. You know, you could be called away to a foreign country too. The energy is there for such things. You want to run and you want to go, and you may be leaving love behind. It's also the card of Gemini. Perhaps some of you are turning your backs to a Gemini, that for one reason or another, you have to leave them in order to embrace your new future. Now, Gemini energy is also to do with polarities, seeing things in a black and white view. And that's what they do. They are the solvers. And solving something, in order to solve any problem, you have to separate it. Take all the parts, lay them out on the table, and see them as individual pieces. And very often when this coupling would come, you would say that you're turning your back on people who are too determined to tear you apart, to pick out all the pieces of you. They seem to be picking on you. That's the kind of sense I get. People who are picking on you, picking you apart. and you just don't want to be part of that energy anymore. And even in other aspects of your life and work, your career, your studies, or money or finances, you don't want to be kind of looking at the nitty-gritty always. You want to see that big, gorgeous picture again, which is what you're marvelous at. It's the energy of going back to the absolute true vision that you had at the beginning and remembering that. Remember your original vision and take some time to ignore the small details. You can return to that again, but it's all about the big picture for you guys now, okay? And then what, Sag? Look what we have here. How gorgeous is this? You have the skies opening up, the big celestial hand coming out from the heavens, opening up just for you and handing you a gift. The gift is two things, threefold actually. First, let's be literal. It's finances. There is a new way for you to earn money, possibly a new career opportunity, a new job, a new enterprise in some way that you are going to make money. And the gods are giving you this gift, so you've got to run with it. You have to ride this while the wind is at your back. This card coupled beside it talks about extreme focus and diligence, using all your energy to go deeply into one thing and making that your chosen expertise. So if your energies have been a little bit scattered, in February, Sag, it's going to be all about the focus, all about taking what you already know and fine-tuning it, yet at the same time, as we spoke about, remembering the bigger picture. I almost get the sense with this that the universe is calling you to take a couple of steps back in order to take some steps forward, to untangle yourself from people who have been trying to pick you and pick things apart, in order for you to see the big picture again and choose the avenue, choose what it is that you want to look at. I think there's been a sense where too many people were trying to distract you, pull you into different directions, and the energy now is saying, no, 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 now it's focus. Focus on your dreams, your visions, your beliefs, your passions with confidence, because you've been blessed, and yet do it diligently and with the enthusiasm you had at the beginning, okay? Let's not forget that this Pentacles also represents your spiritual journey. And we have here 1, new beginnings, and 8, mastering and conquering with a sense of power. So that's what it is. Not to go over the same thing again, but it's mastering something, but with a sense of the original vision. Okay? And what will happen then? Another Pentacles card. I mean, this is incredible. And beside it, we have the moon. We have 2 eclipses in February, and they balance between Leo and Aquarius, but on your 3rd and 9th axis, which is all to do with everything we've spoken about. Great flashes of inspiration in the mind and changing the vision of the world that you have. Often, you might literally become a channel for receiving higher wisdom, higher knowledge, deeper intuition. Because eclipses with the energy of the moon, we're talking major intuition here. So all of those avenues we spoke about for you, Sag, are going to take a massive overhaul. Let's not forget, with the energy of the moon in your 3rd and 9th house, things may get a bit weird. This is weird card syndrome. And that's what the moon often does to us. In order for us to make great changes when we get stuck, we're kick-started, and very often that can be a little bit crazy, a little bit mad, a little bit weird, and often uncomfortable, but it will be worth it. Let's not forget that eclipses can bring out very unusual people who might challenge what you're doing. But look, after the hard time you guys have had over the last 2.5 years, you're so used to being patient when it comes to, challenges being in your way. So if you have detractors or very unusual people coming out, surprising people coming out telling you you're doing something wrong or blah, 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 ignore them, baby. Ignore them. They could act as a catalyst for you to grow more confident. That's another way to look at this. When these people or situations that are a bit odd come out and try to bring you down, it could be the very thing that gives you that real sense of confidence, which is what you've been missing. And I hate to see a Sag without confidence, because you're so bright and optimistic, and your energy doesn't suit pessimism, and it doesn't suit feeling underconfident. But the eclipses will give you all of that back. It may also give you back good, how would I say it, associates, people who you trust. We have the Pentacle energy, and these are trustworthy people. You could find in February that out of the blue moon, out of the blue, somebody very trustworthy will come into your life. Possibly a Capricorn, because we do have Saturn energy here, or a Virgo. We'll talk about this in a moment. That's Virgo energy here. Or a Taurus. They could be very influential in guiding you, directing you, giving you something of great value, either to your spirit or even financially during this period, which can't be all bad at all. But look, when everybody else is going crazy under these eclipses, you'll be just sitting there saying, I have got this shit covered. I am happy. And could he possibly surround himself with more adornments and more luxury? He has the grapes, wine, harvest, the fruits of the labor, and being rewarded for the fruits of the hard work, which is another key thing for you this month, Sag. Starting to see the rewards for your hard work. Also with the scepter in his hand, receiving information from a higher authority. He has his eyes closed, which means that he's very confident. He is not using his mind, or he's not using what he's used to seeing, but rather closing his eyes, taking a leap of faith, channeling higher wisdom, and going deep with that, and reaping the benefit from it. How gorgeous, how gorgeous. Quite deep cards, but then again, you're deep, Sag. I know a lot of you sometimes, not so much Sag, but maybe other signs might come and say, my God, will she just tell me what the lottery numbers are and stop telling me about deep esoteric stuff? But these things are important for you. These are the very attitudes that we must take in order to see those good benefits come into our life. Moving on then, Sag, what do we have? We have the Hermit, which is a Virgo card. And again, he is the one who secludes himself, who goes away from other people in order to find his own truth. He stands strong again with the staff of truth in his hand. His eyes are closed, he's in deep meditation, and he's drawing energy from both his truth and his strength in his foundation. And that is what you'll be doing in February, looking to your higher power, your higher truth, your higher wisdom, and extending it. There will be that sense of, I thought I had learned all there is to learn, but now I'm entering a phase where there is a door opening and more is coming. More is coming. And look what he's turning his back to. You'll notice he has his back to this shit. And what is this? The 8 of Swords. This talks about being trapped. Often self-imposed, but being trapped by your own thoughts. More of the same thing, Sag. You will realize in February that the reason why a great many things are staying or have been stuck for you is because you have trapped yourself in your own belief systems. and you have felt weighed down by that and felt that you couldn't move forward. And the worst thing possible for a Sagittarius is to feel claustrophobic. Look, she's got her arms tied, her hands tied, her eyes blindfolded. That's your living nightmare. Trap a Sag? Nobody traps a Sag. I mean, you could set traps down and you can avoid them at every cost, but yet here you are, finally turning your back on the things that were giving you a bit of claustrophobia and trapping you in a world that you no longer wanted to be in. And this is on a very esoteric level. I'm sorry if I'm doing this to you, going very deep into the cards, but I just feel I have to say it for one reason or another. Self-imposed burdens, self-imposed traps. A great many of you might be turning away from people who have limited you. Some of that limitation could have been coming from your own mind. But here we see somebody who is blinded and wrapped up in something that is not true. If you have found, Sagittarius, that you've been around the energy of people who are lying or forcing you or asking you to turn a blind eye to something, to their faults, to the things that they do, in order for you to be happy with them, they're asking you to ignore a lot about them. And I don't think you can do that anymore. I think your eyes will be open to this. I don't think it'll be something you can tolerate anymore. On February 11th, we have Venus and Neptune in your 4th house, your family house. Now, Neptune is wonderful. He gives us cause to dream and be romantic and to see the shiny side of things. When it comes to your lover and to your home in particular, you might be only seeing the shiny side and not seeing the truths beneath. But as February ends, there will be that stark realization that you've had to close your eyes to a lot of people and to a lot of family members in particular. Because in order to get along with them or to be happy in your own life, you had to do that. That's going to turn. There will be a period, though I did mention family life, there'll be a lovely period where you'll be getting on very well with your family in February, and you'll be receiving a lot of gifts and flattery and love and inspiration and happiness, possibly even forgiveness in the family life and in the home. But after that lovely glowy energy, this is where this kicks in. You'll be turning your back and going again and saying, that was wonderful, I enjoyed it, but in order to see the good things about my family or my loves or the people around me, I just have to put too many blindfolds on, and I don't want to do that anymore, okay? It's just something to think about. It's going to be important. I can't exactly say why, but it will make sense to you as the month progresses, Sag. And then what? The Page of Wands. This guy is incredible. I mean, when he comes up, it usually, for me, talks about a person who is an eccentric, somebody who has a very particular character, very often a fire sign or somebody with a very fiery character. That's Aries, Leo or Sagittarius like yourself. And here they are seen in a very, I'd say, cocky position. They don't suffer fools. They don't care. They go through the world dancing to their own rhythm, and they get teased about it. But ultimately, they're very wise. This card for me is very often like the Fool card. They can often appear very foolish, but in the end, they know what they're doing. Now, this could be you towards the end of February, kind of having more fun, allowing yourself to be a bit foolish, but also you might be on the receiving end of a little bit of criticism where people might come to you and say, you can't do that, you can't be unlike us, you can't go out and do your own thing and not be part of the herd. You've got to conform. And you're like, no, I don't think so. I don't conform. I'm going to remember my strength. I'm going to remember who I am. I'm going to go into my wardrobe, get that absolutely fabulous gold outfit with the matching boots, the hat with the feather, oh yeah, the one that I've been keeping for good occasion. And I'm going to ride out there on my own with a clear sky, see, clear mind. And I'm going to be that wonderful fool, but fool in the positive sense. A little bit eccentric, a little bit mad, a little bit outrageous, that's the word. But you have to be, Sag. In order to channel all this wonderful new energy, you have to remember who you are, which is that fun, outrageous person who goes through the world to the sound of their own music. And that is very important. Aquarius will remind you of that too, mid-month. He'll say, if you want to step out of your comfort zone and have all this new mind energy, a revolution is going to happen. You're going to have to walk the talk. If you can't convince us anymore of what you're saying unless you're living it. And that is you, Sag. You're going to now be living those wonderful, eccentric, yeah, but higher ideals. And you're going to present yourself in a way that reflects that. And by doing that, you're turning your back on Saturn, who has held you captive for the last 2.5 years. You are defining yourself again, reasserting yourself, finding your courage and optimism, and turning your back on that. You don't want to be obsessed with all the hardships anymore. You don't want him to be in your life torturing you. You're out of here. You're out of here, baby. Out of here, baby. But before you go, there'll be one last. See you with the stick. You'll be holding it up and saying, I've got the power. So there'll be a big middle finger to Saturn. You'll say, thanks for everything. Thanks for teaching me everything I needed to learn. And I do appreciate it, but here's my big stick. And here's me hitting you with it. And I'm going to move the camera up here now. So what do we end up with, Sag? Oh, we end up with a very wonky camera. We end up with you going into a period of meditation. And we know this. Look, we have the Hermit. We have the King of Pentacles. And other cards here which are all suggesting a period of quietening your mind, taking time out from the world, being at peace with your mind, because it will be a time of a lot of mental activity as you're channeling this new energy. And there will be that lightning bolt which might frazzle your nerves a bit mid-month. So if your nerves are feeling a little bit too, and your mind is going a bit too much, do take the time out, Sag. Relax. Pray, if some of you pray. I don't know if all of you pray, or if you speak to a higher power. Speak to somebody, speak to yourself, someone or something that you trust, and channel all the good things, and relax. Because once you're relaxed, that's when the flow happens. And then at the end, once you're finished with all of that, because this is the month where there'll be a lot of activity in those areas we spoke about. At the end of the month, you'll begin to relax. And once you do that, the possibilities are endless. You will see the big picture again. You will be able to stand back and go, can all of this really be true? Can all of this really be happening? He's entering a dream, which is a vision of his future. You remember you said you turned your back on the nitty-gritty, trying to pull things apart and to understand the pieces of everything. No, gather up all those pieces again and see the bigger picture, see the potential, the dream, the overarching theme. And once you do, let's not forget this is also a love card. You will fall in love again with your life, with yourself, with the things that you give your passion to. And perhaps you'll be preparing the way for March to fall deeply in love with somebody who inspires you. inspiration, perhaps even psychically inspires you. Cups are all to do with psychic intuition and love that comes out of the blue. Are you preparing for something bigger? I like it, I like it, I like it, Sag. Well, I hope you have a wonderful February, Sagittarius. We know what the energies are going to be like. We know you're going to enjoy a good bit of time with your family, receiving love from them, making peace with some of them. Forgiveness is a big theme mid-month with your family. You may even fall back in love with your home. You look around and say, am I giving it enough care and attention that I need in order to feel comfortable and at peace, and in order for it to reflect who I really am now? Maybe you need to paint that wall or do something that's more true to you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful time. And I hope you enjoy every minute of it. Sag, I love you so much. And if this is your first time watching my videos, do subscribe. You can like, you can share, you can come to my Facebook page, and come back again next month to find out what's happening again in the Sag world. I give you a big kiss from me to you. Mwah. Bye, Sag.